I mean, come on. You didn't expect any different result today, did you? The Giants lose 8 in a row, a 29-21 loss against the Washington Commanders. Welcome into the Giant Take podcast. I'm Josh, and I'm not joined by my friend and co-host Alex. He has decided to take a venture alongside Brian Dable to Cancun. And no, I'm not joking. Well, I am joking about the uh, Brian Dable part. Brian Dable's probably there. Alex is escaping the cold for a few days. Boy, am I jealous up here in Syracuse. And going to Cancun. I am not lying about that with his friends. So you know what? Good for him that he can skip this one. But I'll be here. I am here, and I will talk about this Giants team that is now 2-12 on the year. Apologies if I sound a little different, a little odd. I'm getting over a cold. Hopefully, we'll be gone sooner than later. But won't be gone sooner than later is how bad this Giants team is. And you want to talk about a cold? Well, that is this Giants team. I mean, my God, are they cold, losing the last 8 straight games. I don't even know where to start with this. I don't know if this will go in an order per se. But what I will say, does anything solidify anything anymore? Joe Schoen should be gone. He should be fired. We've been saying this since 8 weeks ago, but I guess that's the sentiment still remains true. And I don't know how many more games you need for it to be proven correctly in that way. You have a team that, yes, kept it close, and that would be the one thing that Joe Schoen has to offer in his name is, oh, we kept it close all year. All these games, we kept it close. But, I mean, if that's the one thing that you have that is saving your job, then there's something not even wrong with Joe Schoen at that point. That's on ownership, and we've been worried that John Mara is too used to the same old, that he won't make a change and bring in Brian Dable. We heard from my friend Nick. If you didn't listen to the preview, we had him on, a Commander super fan and a friend of mine. And he basically mentioned, listen, this organization, this is talking about the Commanders. They're dysfunctional. They're not a good team. I can't watch another game of them anymore. And I mean, yes, like he is completely right. This season, especially, has been rough, and the last years of Commanders fans that he even said who have stuck around because they've been so bad and didn't switch fandoms. It has been so rough, unbelievably rough. I listen. I completely understand um, as a Giants fan because the last few years have been tragic. But here's another game where it is the same old Giants, right? I mean, they hang it till the very end to the point of we have finally an Abdul Carter game. It took long enough to get here, but here we are on December 14th. I'm sitting here and saying we finally have an Abdul Carter game, who's the Giants' first round pick super early in the draft. But anyway, it did happen. And the Giants get an opportunity at the end of the game to tie the game, for that matter, right? Down, I think it was 8. They were down 8, 29-21 final score, and they don't do it. And Jackson Dart fails to kind of complete that task. But you also have Darius Slayton can't catch a ball. The route running sucks. Maybe the play calling sucks. I haven't had time to go back and kind of watch it in that aspect, but it's just rough. And I think Mike Kafka, he said after the game, listen, this is a learning stage now. This is a loss we can learn from, that these guys can learn from. I know there's like really nothing else he can say at this point, but I mean, it'll be clean house for him too. He'll be gone, I'm sure. He can also join Alex in Cancun if he so chooses. But it's just rough for him. I mean, and I'm not saying I feel bad for the guy, but it's just what he kind of had to take over from Brian Dable. The press conference, it was my decision with Abdul Carter. You have the Hard Knocks where you get videoed saying the F-bomb and it literally making it sound like the F-bomb is uncool of a word to use when it's supposed to like fire guys up. It's something organic. It's something different. It's something unique. I know I'm talking about the uniqueness of the F word. I understand that, but this was a big, speech that was all over Giants Twitter of 2 minutes of him saying nonsense and John Michael Schmitz breaking down the huddle. That's how you know it's bad, that your 53-man roster is getting broken down by basically what has been a failed draft pick at center and has not played to his fullest potential that we expected either. And you have him, that's the captain, who's breaking down the entire team after the meeting that Mike Kafka led, where he can't even lead his guys correctly. There's so many eyes rolling and questioning faces and like, what is this guy talking about? Bounce out of the bye week. We're going to effing do this, effing do that. We're going to effing get 4 wins together as a group, whatever the BS was. So, yeah, Kafka, I don't even. All right. Let's get into the game. Let's get into Jackson Dart first. I'd like to start there because he is the future, hopefully, of this Giants team. He goes 20 for 36 today, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The middle stretch of the game, I thought he was very good. I thought there were drives that he illustrated how good he was. There was that one where he got injured again and got looking to the medical tent, and then he came out, and then Winston came back, and then Winston got taken out in the 4th and goal, and Dart couldn't convert the Giants. I mean, that just shows you right there. I mean, that touchdown there could have tied, could have won them the game. They get stalled out after 4 downs at the 5, at the freaking 5-yard line. And I wasn't a big fan of Jonathan Vilma in this game, calling it alongside, I think it was Kenny Albert. And there's one thing that Vilma said there. I think they did a fake handoff, or they had Dart keep it and then go down, and that started the injury. And Vilma was like, they're doing more than they need to. This is a goal to go situation. There's a goal line situation. There is definitely an easier way to go about this than to try to expose your quarterback to an injury. And that's exactly what happened, because he literally had to go off the field to get a medical, go into the medical tent and get checked. That is one thing that I did agree with Jonathan Vilma with, who was broadcasting this game, was that I'm not going to say it's not that hard. There's no way I'm ever going to probably coach in the NFL. But what I will tell you is when it's a goal to go, it's literally first down and goal from the 1. 99% of the time, teams, I don't know the exact analytics there, but I'm sure it is upwards of 90% of teams cash in when they have the ball at the 1-yard line on the first and goal, that they will eventually get it in for a touchdown. I'm not talking about a field goal here. And that is something, even if Jameis Winston's coming in, that just needs to be accomplished. Because then Winston comes in, he's immediately pressured, he throws the ball over whoever the tight end was at that time, and then also ran a run play that, of course, the Commanders were expecting it, because it was Winston. Trick them. Have Jameis throw a check down or something. Have him throw a screen pass to a running back. Have him throw an out route to a wide receiver. Have him throw a slant to one. Have him throw an out route to a tight end. To have him come in the first play you run it, that's the most expected thing ever. And they did that. No wonder it got stuffed. Jeez, man. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? And then Dart's interception, that sucked. I mean, the guy was covered the whole time. I know I'm not, it's been a few hours. I'm recording this around 7. It's been a few hours removed from the game. And honestly, I remember what happened, but the names are slipping from my memory, and that's my fault. But whoever he threw it to, maybe it was Robinson, maybe it was Slayton, was basically double covered. The cornerback did a good job reading the ball the whole time. However, Dart really threw it right at him, that being the defensive back in that play and that interception. And that was unfortunate to see. And that really just kind of added a cherry on top. No, please. Jackson Dart has definitely shown us flashes, absolutely. But that in that moment was just so the offense can't score. The defense sucks against the run. Special teams can never do its job. And on top of that, the future quarterback of this team just threw a terrible interception. Thank God Dart turned it around. He ended up having a pretty good game. Besides that, couldn't get it done again in the last minute. That's, I guess, comes with time. It comes with having not good receivers, comes with not having a lot of experience, and possibly a bad O-line too. Tyrone Tracy did well in this game, 15 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown, 1 on the ground, 1 in the air. First time someone's done that since Saquon Barkley was on the team. Makes sense. Tracy is only 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. You would think we were going to see more of him with Scadaboo out. We haven't. He's been dealing with injuries all year, so I was happy to see him have a good game. I've always liked Tracy since the Giants have gotten him. And I was really, really excited going into the year. If you're an avid listener of the show, you know that. When it was Scadaboo got picked, I love Scadaboo. I mean, well, obviously I'm wearing his jersey for everyone listening, but I love Scadaboo. But I also do love Tyrone Tracy. When I knew that they were planning on doing kind of a 50-50 split 1-2 punch, I was so excited to see what that brings. And I'm really still excited to see what that hopefully brings next season. And it eventually turned into Scadaboo, for those few weeks, was the starting running back of the team. And Tyrone Tracy was behind him. But it was when Scadaboo needed a rest, oh my gosh, we have Tyrone Tracy, who's also a solid back. This could be really fun, and a young group of 2 guys that can really help things out. And no, I'm not forgetting about Devin Singletary. There's just not much to say for Devin Singletary. Theo Johnson, there was some pretty good connections there. We saw 3 straight pass catches and first downs of 11 and 12-yard gains. I think that was with Daniel Bellinger. Theo Johnson led the receivers with 72 yards, but that was because he had that big catch along the middle of the field. A very nice deep ball by Jackson Dart. That was really when he was on. So I really enjoyed seeing that. Wandale getting a touchdown, 5 catches, 54 yards, stepping up in the absence of Malik Nabers this whole season, not stepping up, supposed to be the one stepping up. And, he did a little bit there. And then Darius Slayton. What are we doing? The drops. Again, this was something that I disagreed with what Jonathan Vilma had to say. Vilma during this game, and I tweeted this out from the Giant Take account, was he basically said along the lines of like, wow, you rarely see this from Darius Slayton. Yeah, Jonathan Vilma, again, I don't want to like talk crap about, whatever, but it's just like, you got to do like your prep here, or like you got to know this a little bit. Darius Slayton over the years of being a Giants wide receiver has had issues with drops. You even look up Darius Slayton drops on Google, on Twitter, you'll see from a month ago when he had like 3 of them in a game, how big of an issue it's been. And then Giants fans called back from that one. We even said on the show that Slayton has had this history with drops. And then you come on the broadcast and say, this is unlike the veteran leadership of Darius Slayton to do this. No, this has been his career. And as much as I have in that closet right there where that Giant Take picture is, in that closet, I have a Darius Slayton jersey. Again, love the guy, but like, he's had issues dropping the ball repeatedly, time and time again. And he's getting paid a good amount of money now after that newer contract. He wasn't getting paid a lot of money before. He's not getting paid a lot of money, but he's getting paid a decent amount to do his job. That's catch the ball. That's run with the ball. And he's got to do the first part of that. And it seemed like he was distracted today from doing that job. And it ends up being a turnover. So, not a turnover, but incomplete passes that shouldn't be incomplete and should be first downs, if not other stuff. So that's what I have on him there. Moving to the defensive end, Abdul Carter game. The Abdul Carter game, absolutely. 5 tackles, 1 sack, 3 TFLs in this one, 1 QB hit. I think that Abdul Carter really showed what he could be for this Giants team today. We even saw it from literally the first snap. I believe the first play of the game, he had that TFL. So what a way to start out your game, Abdul Carter, and then kind of developed it for the rest of the game as well. Helped give the Giants a chance late. Somehow they blew it again. I don't know how does that happen, that the Giants have a chance one time, they can't cash in. Then you think it's over because Washington gets that first down. The Giants only have a single timeout, and then somehow they flub it up, give up the ball in a fumble. Giants have it back again, and then again can't capitalize. You want to talk about a Giants storybook loss in these games that just, you think in your imagination, in any possible scenarios, the ones out of 100s, the ones out of 1000s, the ones out of 1,000,000% chances that these type of losses, that these type of games happen with this Giants team. Somehow, every week, we say it time and time again, I'm sorry to repeat it, they find a new way to lose. And they did it again today. Again. How is that possible that you have a chance to lose or win, to tie the game, you don't succeed? The Commanders get it back. They complete a big first down, a big chunk play of like 20, 30 yards. There's a single timeout the Giants have left to their disposal. And somehow Washington still messes up and gives the ball back to the Giants, or I guess the Giants defense makes their way to get the ball back. And yet they still can't tie the game, come down the field and do that. And yet, time and time again, we've seen that from the opposing team that the Giants have played. That they, in that moment, when you think the Giants have all but closed out the game, come back, get the ball, score the touchdown, and either tie it and force it to overtime and then win it then, or win it in regulation when you think all odds are in the Giants' favor of winning the football game. Why is it that when the Giants have the chance to do that, when they have the chance to play spoiler, when everything over the entire course of the season happens to them in the opposite way, or to the Commanders, that the Giants can't capitalize? Because that's what I saw today. I was like, when Dart was driving with like a minute left, 30 seconds, I'm like, this is normally what happens to us. Now we have the chance to do it to another team. And of course they can't capitalize and do it, because why should I have hope that they can do such a thing? So that's what I have there. Shout out to Abdul Carter though, and his effort in this one. The special teams, yeah. I mean, Younghoe Koo, he goes. I mean, this rhymes, but Younghoe Koo goes 0 for 2 from field goals today. I understand the conditions. It was windy, it was snowy, it was cold as hell. Um, he misses. I think it was 2 plus 50 yarders. I think one of them was 52. I mean, the kicking situation has sucked this whole year. Graham Gano, the cut, the injuries, and Koo, and yeah. And then you're thinking, all right, so the Scottish Hammer can't go. Let's sign Cameron Johnston and have him do something. Cameron Johnston punts from his own end zone, low punt right around midfield. Washington takes it back all the way for a touchdown. And by the way, this is after I think the first field goal miss for Younghoe Koo. So, sorry, that's my cold kicking in there. To that point, you already had 2 special teams errors, and then Koo missed another field goal. But I mean, the special teams was going to play a factor in this loss today. Did I think it was going to be of that magnitude that it was? And then you even saw, like, before the game, the Giants were going to be without a kick and punt returner. I mean, yeah, sure, why not? Banks and Singletary, having reps there. Banks didn't actually do that bad of a job returning kicks, but regardless, it's just like, okay, so we got backup punter in there. We still have Koo, who's, wasn't the starting kicker going into this year and was even on the practice squad. And you had June McTominay fill in for him one time because the Giants have no faith in him. Now he's on the team. So you have that, you have the backup punter, and then you have no kick returner. Yeah, special team sucks. The run defense sucks. At a certain point, I tweeted out Krosky Merritt looked like he was Christian McCaffrey or one of the best running backs in the NFL. Averaged 5 yards per carry on 18 carries, almost 100 yards in the tutty. They were literally having a feeder system of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Handoff, 5-yard gain, 7-yard gain, first down, 5-yard gain, 7-yard. Like, there were drives. There was literally a Krosky Merritt drive in this game that I remember that I guarantee you they did. I mean, I want to see if I can find it. But they had a drive where it was genuinely run after run after run, and they eventually get it in for a touchdown. Yeah, it was this one on Krosky Merritt's 16-yard touchdown run to make it a 10-0 ball game. It was 4 plays, 47 yards, and it was, pass to Deebo Samuel, run, touchdown. There you go, 10-0. This team blows. This team stinks. All of the above. Maybe you thought in these last 4 games the Giants were going to win. That's definitely still possible. For right now, they're still on this 2-game losing streak. There's nothing that any of the players can say. The players are lost. The players might, I mean, if they haven't quit on the team already, they can go join Alex in Cancun at this point. There's no reason to try. There's no reason to start Dart. People are going to disagree with that. I understand both sides. Personally, I fit with the side of I believe that Jackson Dart should not be playing. There's no reason to risk his injury more, especially now when you're throwing him into the fire and having him run a keeper right up the middle and try to pounce his way through, and then goes into the medical tent for another concussion test. I mean, how many more times do we need to see this year when games mean absolutely nothing, literally nothing besides draft position, that Jackson Dart needs to play right now and waste his future potential in following seasons? Why? There is no reason. So now we look ahead. The Giants play the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Cowboys. Pick one. See if they win it. I doubt they win all 3 of them at this point. We're looking at a top 3 pick. We're possibly looking at the number 1 pick. If we get the number 1 pick, why not trade back? There's going to be a quarterback needy team. See how much you can get from it. See if you can even get a player from it above all. But I mean, picks is also very important and maybe more important, I guess. Anyways, I think I did my rambling job again. Like, there's only so much you can circle back to. Certain times, Dart at the end of the game was unfortunate. I feel like he could have played better there. but also all the receivers and options were covered. So that was a little difficult. And then the interception was tough. But in that middle stretch there, a second and third and beginning of fourth quarter, I thought he was really solid. I did think he was really good. Tracy, the same thing. Really liked what I saw out of him today. That throw to him in the right corner of the end zone by Dart was great. That was great. Great connection by the both of them. Great job by Abdul Carter. Finally found his game. Finally found his flow. But a streak was going to have to get snapped today. Someone was going to have to lose their losing streak. And it wasn't the Giants. And it's not a surprise. And it shouldn't be a surprise to any of you. It really shouldn't. This team is destined for nothing. This team is destined for crash course and failure and lower than low. That's what we've seen all season. That's nothing different of what we saw today. And out of the bye week, what changed? Nothing. The Giants played for the first time in a couple weeks and lose again. So that's where I leave you. That's where we are right now. Giants lose 29-21 against the Washington Commanders. I appreciate you for listening or watching. If you made it this far, hit that follow button on the Giant Take Pod socials. I'm on Twitter at JoshSolo29. Hit that subscribe button to the podcast as well. We'll be back. The Giants play the Vikings next Sunday, 1 o'clock on the 21st. Happy holidays if that's rolling around for everyone. First night of Hanukkah tonight, so that is exciting. And then Christmas right around the corner, as well as Kwanzaa too. So whatever you celebrate, happy holidays to you and your family. And hopefully Alex will be back for the next one, the preview for this Vikings game. Thank you so much again, everyone. See you next time. Peace.